Good morning students. Today we will study about class 6 chapter 9, that is living organism, characteristics and habitat. In previous lecture we had studied about the habitat of living organisms and terrestrial habitat. In today's lecture I will teach you about some aquatic habitats and the characteristics of organism. So some aquatic habitats are of two types here. Number one, that is oceans, and number two, ponds and lakes. In oceans, there are large number of plants and animals can survive. So few are discussed here. Number one, fish. Fish have streamlined body. It has slippery scales on their body which help them for the easy movements. Fish have gills that help us to take up the oxygen that is dissolved in water. Next is they have tails and fins which help them to the smooth movement and change the direction according to the need. Next is squids and octopus. The squid and octopus have gills but do not have a streamlined body. So they can take up the oxygen from the water through their gills. Next is dolphin and whales. Dolphin and whales do not have gills. They breathe through nostrils and blowpipes. They can breathe near the surface of the earth. They spend maximum of their time inside the water and stay long time without breathing. For breathing, they have to come out from the water so that they can take up the oxygen. So here these are the animals which are present in the oceans. And number two is ponds and lakes. The ponds and lakes have aquatic plants as well as animals. So here the aquatic plants have some characteristics. Their main function is the roots have the main function that this hold the plant straight. Their stems grow up at the surface of the water and the flowers of aquatic plant float on the surface of the water. Some plants submerge in water and can bend in floating water. But some plants can go straight. They have no effect of floating water on them. Next is the animal, that is frog. It lives in maximum in pond, but the frog are amphibians. They can live on land as well as on water. So they have strong back legs which helps them to leaping and catching their prey. Next is they have webbed feet which help them to swim easily. These are the aquatic habitat which contain different and various type of plants and animals. They have the characteristics and specific features according to their habitat. So now the question arises, how we differentiate between the living organism and the non-living organism. So living organisms like plants, animals, humans are totally different from car, bus, scooter, chair, table, pen, mobile, blackboard and etc. So how the living organisms are differ from the non-living organisms. So here the living organisms have some characteristics. These characteristics are as follows. Number one, organism need food. So first is organism need food. All the organisms like plants and animals need food for their growth and development. So various life processes can be carried out with the help of energy. So they get this energy from food. As we all know, plants make their food by the process of photosynthesis and the animals depends on animals and plants for their food. So that food gives them energy and help them in various life processes. Number two is organisms show growth. As you see, when you plant a tree, or a seed in a soil, it is very small in size, and after a few days or few years ago, that seed germinate to give a big tree, which shows that plants grow. Or also, young ones of animal grow into adult, as a chick is hatched from egg and then converted into hen or chicken. So we can say that the animals and plant grow. Next is organism respire. So breathing is a part of respiration. All the plants and animal respires. During the process of breathing, they take up oxygen or give out carbon dioxide. It is done by human beings and animals. For plants, plants take up the carbon dioxide and give us the oxygen. The exchange of gases can take place in plants as well as in animals. So, earthworm exchange gases through skin, fish exchange through gills, plants exchange gases from leaves. As the respiration process, that is the different from the photosynthesis. So, in respiration, take up of that is taking up of the oxygen and giving out of the carbon dioxide. So respiration is different from photosynthesis. In respiration, the leaves use the oxygen gas that is prepared in the photosynthesis process and give out the carbon dioxide. Next is organisms respond to stimuli. So firstly, what is stimuli? Stimuli is changes that take place that make up response. So changes that make up response is stimuli. What does it mean? When you touch a heating utensil or the warm utensil, you bring away your hand from that, which means you respond to that action. Sometimes you see the cockroaches goes behind or go away when you light up the light of the kitchen. So they prefer to live in the dark. So when you want to catch that a bird, they go to fly. Which means when you respond any action, they revert that action. So which means any organism which respond to stimuli, which means that are living organisms. But on the other hand, if you see the non-living things, if I am touching that blackboard, it doesn't change its position, which means it doesn't respond to my action. So the organism which respond to any stimuli, that are living organisms. Next is organism excrete. So what is excrete? It is the excretion, the process of getting rid of waste materials. So when we take up the food, some of them is utilizing to get energy, but the rest part it is not utilized at all. That is considered as a waste that is come out from the body. That process is called excretion. Some animals or some plants store that waste which is not harmful for that plants and animals, but on the other side some remove the waste by the various excretion processes. Next is organism reproduce. What does reproduce means? The process of producing the young ones of its own kind, which means the process in which the organism produce their young ones. For example, plant reproduce through seeds. After some time, that seed germinate and growing into plant. On the other side, some animals reproduce by producing eggs, or other reproduce without any production of eggs. So which means we can say that organism reproduce. Next is organism move. Yes, organism move. We see the animal goes from one place to another, or some plants grows, like some grow in the night or some grow in the dark. Sometimes you see some flower closes its leaves, that is touch me not plant closes its petals when it is dark, but some other plants can grow in the dark. So which we can say that they can move, they can show movement, so that's why they are living organisms. So by knowing these characteristics of organism, we generally say that the living organisms are those which can need food, which show growth, which respire, which responds to stimuli, which excrete, which reproduce, or which can move. Or all the other activities which can't be done by the non-living things, so they are considered as living organism. For example, your book can't move by itself. You have to force it to move. So that's why that book is non-living. So your book can't reproduce. It means your book can't produce their young ones. So that's why it is non-living. So your book can't excrete. Your book can't respond to your actions. Your book can't respire. Your book do not show any growth. And your book doesn't need any food. So that's why your book is non-living thing. So these are the characters which shows that organisms are living. So here we had completed the chapter number 9 of class 6 science. So when you get this video, the tomorrow will be the test of chapter 9. So you will be prepared next day, which means tomorrow you have to prepare for the written test of chapter 9. So I will send you the test of chapter 9 tomorrow. You will write your test with fair means in your test notebook. Thank you.